Bunch of noise. That needs to stop. I don't know why that's making a bunch of noise. Maybe that'll stop. It's my first time using Twitter Spaces here. So wow, is that going to be quiet? I may have to kill Twitter here. I don't want music. Sorry guys, hold on. How do we freaking turn this off? Oh my. Oh, there we go. We had to turn the mic on. All right. My Twitter people, we are here. Everyone else on all the other places, we are here today. Oh, had myself on mute the whole time. Great, but we are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we're talking about motivation, right? Wherever you are listening to right now, whether that be YouTube, Twitter, or X, or Facebook, or wherever, we are talking about motivation. And you may think that motivation is this thing that's just like, there or not. You hope it's there, and the days it's not there, you're like, oh man, I wish I was more motivated. Because let's be real, when you're not motivated, things are very hard to do and to get things done. But most people just assume motivation, like we're talking about here, is just something that is there or it's not. But today we're going to be talking about manufacturing motivation, what goes into motivation, and 3 steps to actually manufacture motivation so that you're in control of how you feel. Because you really are in control of how you feel. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If my things, okay, perfect. So housekeeping before we get started real here, right quick, real here. That makes sense. But what I want to really cover is just the purpose of this training. These trainings are meant to be quick, impactful, valuable, 15 to 30 minutes max. We're doing these every day, and I don't want to take a bunch of your time. I want to give you something valuable, give you something you can implement and get going with it. Make change in your life. So that's the goals of these trainings. They're going to be quick, they're going to be easy, they're going to be great, but they're also going to be filled with homework because you're here to be able to get better, right? You're here to learn something. And if you don't do the homework, then what are we even really doing here, right? Of course, make sure to stay up to date with any of the future trainings. Of course, we have one tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So check out any of my pinned posts on my social platforms, and you'll be able to see the schedule laid out 1 week at a time for any of the trainings. You can go and join them all. You can go and register for them all. You can register for what you want, whatever you want. Check them out. And of course, lastly here, resources based on the trainings that I do here every single day. There's going to be this beautiful resource document with homework, with a recap, with information, and everything like that, along with slides and all kinds of awesome stuff. And essentially, that's going to be posted in my Facebook group. So wherever you're tuning in from, what I want you to do is go join the Facebook group, and you'll be able to get the document there. In addition, that's when we're going to be answering questions. So what I want you to do, if you have any questions about any of this, drop the questions in the chat. I'm not going to answer them during the training because we want to keep these short and simple and quick and impactful. But what I will do is answer those questions later inside the Facebook group. So you had to have gotten here somewhere. Most likely it was a document similar to this. And essentially, it's got all the information on there for you to join the group and everything like that. What I do want to warn you here real quick, though, is the art of thinking. Back in the day, I didn't really think very much. You may be like, oh, what are you talking about thinking? What I'm talking about here is we are trained not to really think. We're trained and brought up to really just like accept things as they are, not think levels deeper than the words that are coming out of my mouth or of people's mouths and into your brain. You just take it as surface level and you move on. What I encourage you to do is the things that I'm saying, stop, think about it, review this training, think deeper, think multiple levels and layers deep into what I am saying. It's so easy to just like take something as it is and walk out the door. You don't get the value from that. You get the value from taking what I said and sitting down with a cup of coffee and thinking about it. That's where the results come from, right? So I wanted to remind you there, that's how you're going to get the most out of these trainings, is actually using your brain and challenging yourself to think deeper. Okay, what I want to talk about here is really before we get into the 3 steps, there are 2 reasons for low motivation. As you can see right here, number 1 is low vision. So what's your vision exactly? Vision is essentially your goals, your view, your mission, what you want to achieve and accomplish and do in your life. And a lot of time people have just a small vision, but most importantly, they just aren't clear on what their vision is. And I may ask you and be like, okay, well, what's your vision? What's your goals? What do you want to do? And you'll be able to say, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do X, Y, and Z. I have this. And then you stop. And then you start going into the ideas and the responses of what you do not. I didn't ask you what you don't want. I asked you what you want. And the reality is most people are able to rattle off a couple things that they want, their goals, their vision, material, non-monetary, monetary, non-monetary, family, all those kinds of things, businesses, everything like that. They're able to rattle off a couple of those, and then they start rattling off the things that they don't want. And that's what you got to dive deeper into. You got to get clarity on what you want, painting your picture of your life down to however minute of a detail as you can. And when you're not clear of your vision, you have nothing to chase. You have nothing to progress towards. And us as humans, that's what we do. That's how we survived so long, as we're always reaching for more. We're always reaching for higher things. And that's why people say money doesn't buy happiness, because, and you're going to see a lot of super wealthy people super unhappy, and they're like, yeah, that's right, money doesn't buy happiness. No, it doesn't. But a lot of the time, those super wealthy people, they stop all things and they lose their purpose. They have no vision, and now they're just unhappy and kind of a blob. So your vision needs to be big, detailed, and inspiring. And if you don't have that, you're going to suffer from low motivation. Number two, it's simply unclear steps. And this is going to really affect most people more than low vision. I think most people really have some kind of dreams, some kind of vision. Yes, it needs to be tweaked more. But the second one here is really what affects most people. And that's just unclear steps of what to do, right? You're most likely in your job right now. You got to wake up in a handful of hours, most likely jump in your car, commute to work, do your job, mess with your boss, drive back home, fight the traffic, eat dinner, and now you're here spending time with me trying to improve your life, which is absolutely glorious. Good on you. You're at point A and you want to get to point Z, and you just may be completely unclear on the steps, on the business, on the tactical, on the strategy of how to actually get there. And when you're just completely clueless, uneducated on how to get there, those steps, there's not much motivation. Yes, you have this big, clear vision of what you want to do, maybe, but you don't know how to get there. And that can be very, very demotivating. So what's the solution there? The solution there is to learn, spend time to learn, read, take courses, sign up for coaching, sign up for mentors. Because once again, people are like, oh, I don't want to spend money to, work with you and learn Amazon or work with anybody. And I'm like, I would pay any amount of money to go sit down with John Rockefeller. I'm not saying I'm John Rockefeller, but anyone that is higher and farther than you, where you want to be, it's a no-brainer to learn how they got there. And right there is a solution to be able to get motivation, to be able to get those clear steps in line. Step one here, we're jumping into these 3 steps of how to manufacture motivation, because once again, it's what you accept. If you just accept things as they are, you are powerless to change them. And yes, we're going to be talking about Amazon stuff and e-commerce and making money in businesses and all of that cool freaking jazz. But all of this is the most important crap. Making money on Amazon's freaking easy. The tactics and the strategies and the tools are easy when you know what you're doing. Right here, my friends, is the most important thing, because right here, your brain, your motivation, how you view things is the center of everything. Everything that happens in your life comes from here. And people say, oh, screw mindset. Well, you're an idiot. That is the center point of everything that happens. So we're going to be talking, well, that's why we're here. On you, let's do this, right? So step one is zero in on your vision. Going back to vision, right? What I want you to do is get clear on that vision. Sit down with a cup of coffee. Sit down, think about your vision. Think about what you really want in life, whether that's monetary, whether that's non-monetary. What does your business look like? What does your daily life look like? What does your relationship with your family look like? What material things do you have? What cars do you drive? What laptop do you have? What phone do you have? What clothes, watches, cars, vacations do you have? And this shouldn't be a chore. This shouldn't be like, oh God, I've got a dream, man. What? No. This should be fun. You're dreaming. You're thinking of what you want and picturing and painting out your life. Because once again, if you're not clear on where you're going, how the hell are you going to get there? Right? So sit down with a cup of coffee and think about your vision. There's no shortcut here. There's no template. There's no hack. another topic for another day, but there's no template, no hack for this. This is sitting down and thinking about what you want. And of course, there's going to be some guidance in the resource document. Like I said, it's posted in the Facebook group, but there's not much I can do for you besides you. I can't paint your dream for you. That doesn't make sense, right? So that was step number one. Now we're jumping here into step number dos, and that is going to be reworking, as you can see, your mind and your environment. The first one here is about how your brain craves accuracy, and really, you may not know what that means, but we're gonna talk about that here in a second. But really, it's all about what you focus on grows, right? We are so tuned to being negative. We're so tuned to focusing on and talking about the shit that we don't want, and then we wonder why it always shows up, why the things always go bad. Because of this, what you focus on grows. When I say focus on, it's your mental capacity, it's your energy, it's your thoughts, it's your actions, it's your words, it's the things, the energy that you are giving towards something. And the reason what you give energy toward, what you give focus towards grows, or energy towards grows, is due to evolution. This is not some woo-woo thing. It's woo-woo if you have no idea, and you're completely ignorant about the subject. And that's okay if you are. I'm educating you on this. So when it comes to it not being woo-woo, the idea here is that the brain craves accuracy and it ties to evolution. The brain is all about survival. And in order to survive, the brain has to do things that are right. It has to be accurate. It has to say, okay, this fire is hot. Correct. We should not go in there, otherwise we're going to die, right? And at the same time, this will make it even more clear. Energy, we only have so much energy, right? Energy is the life force of who we are. We only have so much energy per day, and it's a valuable resource. Brain energy, any kind of energy, right? I'm not talking about like waves and shit like that. I'm just talking about your energy, right? Your horsepower that you got. We only have so much every day, and the brain is there to monitor the energy. It's there to distribute the energy equally so that we can survive and we don't just collapse and die. So what I'm talking about here is what you focus on grows. If you're choosing to give tons of energy to something negative, to how the world sucks, to how news sucks, to how your girlfriend or boyfriend sucks, or how you're so broke, or you're so dumb, or your car sucks so much. If you just spend all your energy focusing on that, guess what your brain does? Your brain says, oh, okay, well, he's spending a lot of energy on that thing. Again, your brain doesn't know that it's a positive thing or a negative thing. All it sees is that you are spending a lot of energy on something, and in this case, negative. And so your brain says, wow, that must be important. Let's go and make it happen, because it needs to be accurate. And that's the reason things grow when you focus on. So you have to be conscious of the words you're using and the things that you are saying. Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot constantly. And the second part here, and of course, we're going to go super deep in other videos about that, just because these are hugely critical and important, but incredibly deep concepts that I'm kind of running over. And once again, these are things you're going to have to review. Go back through the video and be like, okay, what words did he say? How did he say it? How did he describe that? And thinking about it yourself, coming to the conclusion yourself, all right? The second thing here is your environment, right? It's what you surround yourself with. If you're constantly surrounded and it's a pigsty, or it's just a negative environment, we want to get rid of that stuff. But what I'm more talking about is strategically and being intentional with your environment and putting things in there that push you forward, that draw you towards your vision. I don't know if I have examples here. Do I have examples here? Let's see. Yes, I do. Right? So it's about, once again, creating this empowering environment, right? It's designing your environment like I have right here. It's putting things around. It's putting your goals on your computer. It's putting them on the walls. It's putting them on your phone. It's putting the car that you want on your screensaver. It's putting the things you want around your room and your environment to where you're always seeing them, because when you see them, that's what you focus on. And what you focus on grows. Your brain goes out and makes it happen because it has to be accurate due to evolutionary nature of it. So it's being specific. It's being intentional with putting these things in your environment, whether that's a watch, whether that's a stack of money, whether, I've given a good amount of examples here, but it's being strategic with designing your environment to benefit you and pull you towards your vision and give you motivation. Then the next thing here is, like we talked about, harnessing your words. It's about the words that you use. We were talking about the words in what we focus on in our mind, but we're also talking about the words that we actually say, affirmations. They matter. And that, once again, may be something that could seem woo-woo to you, but if you don't truly understand it, it may seem woo-woo, right? But your self-talk matters. The words you say to yourself matters, because once again, that's another level of focus. If you're constantly telling yourself you're dumb and you're stupid and you suck, okay, well, the brain doesn't know that's a positive or a negative. All it knows is that you're giving energy to that. It's going to line up with that and be like, oh, okay, well, he's giving a lot of energy telling himself that he's an idiot. Well, we're going to go look for things that prove that point. It works in the positive and the negative. That's why affirmations work, because you're feeding your mind the right stuff. You're feeding your mind what you want to be and who you want to be. Because once again, you can choose. You're choosing every moment of every day to either be positive or to be negative. It's a choice. And the reality is most people's default is just negative. And you can switch that. You can change that. You can say, you can catch yourself. It takes work, but you can catch yourself thinking, oh, you suck. Notice how I'm saying you suck. I'm not saying I suck. I cut myself off there. I'm not going to even say that about myself, because that is damaging. You may be like, oh, that's crazy. That's woo-woo. But it really, really matters. And once again, we're going to talk more about this stuff in the future, but affirmations harness your words. And lastly here, be mindful of your consumption, right? Your inputs equal your outputs. I just thought that, back in the day, I thought, oh, I just got to have the tactics. I got to have the strategies, and we're just going to make a boatload of money. And that's just not the case. The reality is, it's your skills, it's who you are that makes you valuable, that makes you money, to where money really is the byproduct of things. And you're not going to have good thoughts, you're not going to have good ideas, you're not going to progress if your inputs, what you're consuming, is shit. If you're watching a bunch of TV and movies, playing games, watching porn, doing all kinds of stupid stuff, all of those are inputs. I don't listen to music anymore because the words are negative inputs into my brain. That's how extreme I have gone. The inputs matter. Your brain is a receiving station constantly. It's a dish that is constantly receiving information, processing it, affecting your identity, and therefore affects what goes on the output. Be very conscious with what you're consuming. Your inputs equal your outputs. If you're not happy with your outputs, the solution is to check your inputs. You can't possibly think well and have great ideas if you're constantly flooding your brain with big booty girls on the internet, or looking at hot guys on the internet, or looking at, shopping all the time, or looking at dumb TikTok videos. That's not going to result. It's just like bad food. You can't expect yourself to be in good shape if you're shoveling down donuts and ice cream and pizza all the time, even though they're really good. But it's the same thing with your inputs, specifically with your mind. Next, number 3, last one, the third step to manufacturing motivation is by generating momentum. And yes, this is something, once again, you can intentionally generate. It's not something that just happens. And there's 2 things here. It's about really, I'll get to this in a second, but it's really just about doing little things that you say you're going to do. I'm not saying go out and tackle the biggest thing in the world and be like, yeah, that's momentum. No, momentum is not about the size of the thing that you have done. Momentum is about checking little things off. It's about quantity, not size or quality. It's about how many little things that you could line up in a row and do over and over and over and over again. That is what generates momentum. And I'll go a level deeper here. This may shock you a little bit. Stop saying you're going to do things. And that may be like, I'm going to be a loser if I say I'm not going to do anything. No, what I'm saying is, most of the time, people overcommit and say they're going to do all these things without realizing they're doing something incredibly damaging to their identity, because they're going to say they're going to do something and then they don't do it. And that is incredibly damaging. You may not know why, but the reason why it's incredibly damaging is because, once again, here with your brain, everything that you do and think on a daily basis is training your brain to think, training your identity, training who you are in a certain way. It's either training it to be positive or it's training to be negative. So in this instance, if you're constantly saying you're going to do a bunch of things and you never do it, what are you doing? You may think, oh, nothing's happening. No, you are intentionally training your brain and saying, hey, all right, brain, when I say I'm going to do something, it's all good. We really don't have to do it. And that's incredibly damaging, not only to your identity and self-confidence, but also to momentum, also to motivation. Because I have a question here for you, and I want you to think about this. Because this can be trained. And it's trained by just doing what you say and limiting the things that you say you're going to do. Say you're only going to do 2 things instead of 20. And the question I want you to think about, what if you actually did everything that you said you were going to do? No matter what happens, no matter the fear, no matter the emotions, no matter what may come across, you become unstoppable. What if you did absolutely everything you said you're going to do? What could you accomplish? Endless things. Right? And it starts here, limiting the things that you say you're going to do just to the things you know you're going to do, and training your brain to say, okay, wow, okay, when we say we're going to do something, we actually are going to do it, right? That's the first thing. And the second thing here is, let me pull up my phone and show you this. The second thing here is tracking that momentum. Most people will have momentum and do all these cool things and all of that, and that's great. They'll build some momentum, but what you want to do is be intentional with that momentum by tracking it and seeing it compound and grow every single day. Yes, you can go to the gym every day and just go to the gym and be like, oh, I'm going to the gym. Or you can go to the gym every day and you can track it. Essentially the app that I use is called Streaks. It should be in the document resource provided in the Facebook group, but essentially this is it right here. Hopefully you can see this. It's a very simple thing. I have my colors off, but you can essentially customize what you're going to do and put whatever task in there. And I essentially have cardio and weights, and I have posting content, and I have stuff with my Amazon business, and I have consuming something, learning something, and right now I have 36 days in a row of cardio and weights. Right, 36 days in a row, no days off. That's what I'm doing. I'm maxing out. Right. The value in this is being able to see this, be able to essentially click it, because when you click it, it makes a little noise. Oh, boom. If that isn't dopamine triggering, I don't know what is. But that is the thing, is tracking that momentum and being able to see that momentum being generated. And that is the third thing here when it comes to hacking and developing and manufacturing motivation itself. And at the end of the day, it's just about everything. Everything is about consistency. It's about doing what you say you're going to do. But at the same time here, it's about sitting down, thinking through your vision, thinking through what you want in life and getting clear on that. Coming back through this video, listening to my words, thinking deeper, and implementing it. And once again, homework. It's in the document. It's in the Facebook group. Don't say you're going to do it. I don't want you to be like, yeah, I'm going to do that homework and not do it. If you're not going to do it, don't lie to yourself. Don't say you're going to do it, because that's just screwing yourself and training your brain to say, oh, we don't have to do what we say we're going to do. So if you're going to do the homework and you know you're going to do the homework, say you're going to do the homework. If you're like, I probably won't do the homework, then don't say you're going to do the homework. Just say, I don't really care about growing myself. I really don't care about painting my life and being able to harness and take hold and be able to manufacture motivation. So I'm just not going to do the homework. At least do yourself a favor and not say you're going to do it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Tomorrow, once again, we have another training and another one the day after and the after and after. And all these videos are just going to get better. I'm just getting started, just getting warmed up. Every video is going to have slides. Every video like this is going to essentially have a resource document chocked full of stuff for you to take action on. So if you're not in the group, get in the group. Check out the pinned link in my social media, whatever it may be, all the platforms. I have a link to the schedule, and it's updated week by week with the trainings of what we are doing with links to register. So my friends, comment down below. I'll see you in the group. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you